Understanding customer behavior, preferences, and market trends is crucial in the ever-competitive telco landscape. AI and ML technologies are being harnessed to gain valuable insights into customer behavior and preferences, that enabling CSPs to enhance the overall customer experience. Joining the session are Danny Han, he's head of Telenor Asia strategy, and next to him is Sandeep Arora, he's senior vice president, APAC MEA, that at Rakuten Symphony. And gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you for having us on.
Well, thanks for being here. Danny, I know you were on just a session just earlier here at the FutureNet Asia conference. How did that go?
Oh, I think it went well. We had the discussion around the topic of how do we drive from a data-driven to intent-based driven for some of our networks. So I think a lot of good points were shared by the panel earlier.
And Sandeep as well, you've been on a couple of our sessions as well. And what's your overall impression of the conference here?
Oh, it's pretty exciting. It's my first time in FutureNet, but I think it's a nice, warm, close group of people coming together, understanding what the challenges are, what's the transitions happening, and how can we learn from each other and take it together for a better customer experience. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's not only collaborative as they should be, but it's also accessible, right? Okay, so I want to start with you, Danny, if you don't mind. Let's again kind of set the stage here. I know you've probably talked about this over the last couple of days many times. So for the purposes of this discussion, talk about it one more time. AI and ML technologies and how they lend themselves to this overall improved customer experience, leading to higher customer retention and also increased revenue. Again, set the stage for us there.
Sure, thank you. No, I think, echoing the points from our EVP and the group CTO, Amor Patke, I think what we're saying is that Telenor is gearing itself to be an AI-first company. And what that means is really trying to extract value from the technology itself and create the benefits that will be enjoyed by our customers, but more also through the society at large. So I think to your question of how AI have really impacted the lives of many people, from a telecom perspective, we see, at least I can think of two examples in this context. One, we see in the space of how AI has been used in chatbots today, really to take into customer query and also provide relevant support to them when needed. Another example is that we have our own, apps within the telco industry, right? And Telenor is also the same. And I think this is something that we've used with AI algorithm to help customize personalized offerings, which not just helps them to increase better engagement with customers, but also to stay relevant with them.
So from Rakuten Symphony's perspective or vantage point, AI, ML for this overall customer experience, kind of what's your position on that right now?
And thanks. So for us, AI is not just a tool. It is a journey of a strategy. How do we transform our telecom customers together? That's very important. Our solutions are based mostly on a cloud-native platform, and the bedrock of that is AI. I think where are we looking at the top 3 AI use cases are primarily on improving the customer experience, optimizing network management, and also on improving the security. But I think the point what we want to drive out here is that some use cases we know, some use cases obviously in the future we don't know. How do we build a cloud-native platform together and have those applications for the current requirements as well as the future requirement? So it's scalable to the future is what we are thinking about when we think about AI.
Danny, of course, your customers, telco space, enterprise space are looking for an improved experience for their customers as well. Using AI, ML, and allowing them to do that, it requires a customized or personalized approach. How is that different than maybe your approach just even a few years ago? And where are the challenges there?
Yeah, I think the approach has changed in terms of how we use the technology. But in terms of the overall thinking being customer-centric, I think that remains still as an important point for us. Now, I think to your point on how becoming, helping our customers to do better and all that, I think it's very important that we listen to them, we understand their challenges, and we provide services that they can relate to or they find that it be very useful. I think when it comes from an enterprise point of view, we are also working the same approach with our enterprise customers. And I think this can be in the context of whether we provide IoT services or network managed services, or even be service bundles, connectivity, like for example, security services. All this gears boils down to how well we understand what our customers need and really be customer-centric around it.
Sandeep, of course, listening to the customer has always been sort of paramount, but now I think even more so, because sometimes, you don't know what you don't know, and your customer may not realize what the right questions are to ask. So you almost have to be consultative in a way. Again, how has that consultative approach changed over the last few years even?
I just add on what even Danny said, because I completely agree. Technology at the end of the day is the enabler for your customer experience and their outcomes. I think what we want to look backwards is what are the use cases what customers are facing challenges on, be it on optimization costs, be it on business growth, be it on experience. Look at those use cases right now. Start with that, and then bundle in the technology from the perspective what are the things which we can solve right now, and what are the structures, and is our company, where are we in the journey? Because it's not just again about technology, it's about the mindset, the context to the organization, what we are changing, and that's where we need to go towards. I just want to answer another point which you talked about, is about the enterprise strategy. And I think that's super important from an enterprise B2B perspective, because we see the way applications are getting changed and consumed by the big enterprises, be it in banking, retail, manufacturing. The critical thing is that they are all shifting towards an application-based business, be it for their own internal application or for external. And those applications are sitting some on-prem because of regulation or for cost, some on hyperscalers, and some on consuming as a SaaS. How do you work out a common experience cloud-native platform so that they can leverage all these technology applications across the board and give them a uniform and a unified customer experience and availability in terms of going forward? I think that's what we really try to look at. Build out a multi-cloud strategy for enterprise business, and that's where build it future-proof, build it multi-cloud, and build it more secure as the animation. That's where we look out from that.
Danny, I wanted to move maybe to, and a bit piggybacking on what Sandeep just mentioned, maybe for the audience to give them some kind of use case example of how you're applying AI ML to these personalized customer experiences, or these personalized engagements with your customers. Is there an example you can offer?
Yes, I think I can give two examples here in this context. So I think from the example of our customer experience, we work with partners who are in the space of who are actually the hyperscaler themselves, and also in terms of some of the more capable AI algorithms that's available out there. So we work on a use case where we were actually driving a Gen AI sales accelerator in the market. And I think it worked out very well, because not only did it help to uplift the engagement that we had with our customers on one-to-one, but it also created a lot of discussions and also points where we see a good take-up in the service that was offered, and there was a repeated in terms of coming back to once more for that. And I think that's a very good example in terms of how AI is able to drive personalized services or gamification for that matter. The other example, at least within Telenor, 75% of our use cases actually involve around 4 specific areas. I think to the point that what Sandeep was sharing, the network and IT operations being one of them. The second one is really around how do we drive better customer base management. The third is around sales and marketing, and that's really focusing on how short and how fast we can accelerate the go-to-market for some of these products. And the last but not least is really looking at taking this technology and start innovating within the office in Telenor, but at the same time on how we can at least engage with our retail partners and all that. And to me, at Telenor, one of the use cases is when it comes to network and IT. Energy management has been a fantastic example in this context, because energy, as most telcos will have gone through, it is a big portion of their operating expenses. And I think through the proper use of AI, actually more specifically machine learning, it has helped us to actually optimize our network, but at the same time provide more sustainable and on-time availability of the network more to our customers. So those are two examples I would like to share.
Those are good. Sandeep, leveraging AI ML for your personalized customer experience or engagement, can you provide an example?
I think the multiple phases, and again, we have seen them from marketing. I think Danny mentioned now, how do we have the agility to move faster to our customers, understand what the customer data provides to you, and be contextual to what you can provide services to them. I think that's a very important use case, because that's more managing them and creating raw business growth. I think the second, obviously, would be more on predictive AI, but there have been a lot of challenges in terms of resolution and how can we predict with a closed loop automation, with the challenges which will they face in future, can we predict it and manage it right now instead of going through the whole churn and going through the whole management. These are the big ones which we are really working on, but I believe these use cases will keep growing. And what we need to understand is also, which we clearly, if you are managing a retail customer versus a manufacturing customer versus a banking customer, those use case, while the approach might be right, but the way you implement and where you get it is going to be different. So you have to be contextual in where are you using those use cases for that. That's my only thought.
That was stellar. Danny, I want to ask you one more question. It's a bit off script here, so answer it how you'd like. There was a session yesterday, and there's actually been a few sessions at this conference, but this particular one I moderated, it was called Telco to Techco, Seeing Everything as a Service. From the optics of your customer, how important is it to be seen as a techco?
Well, I think it's important in the sense of how we are showing to our customers that we are taking steps to bring better services, to be innovative in providing them greater convenience when they are connected to our network. And I think that's the position that most telecom operators are taking. And I think for Telenor companies, we are also doing the same thing.
That's a good point. Sandeep, anything to add?
I'll say that what does techno means for every company? Everybody wants to be a technology company. What does it mean? And how do, again, they serve the business growth and customer experience better? I think, again, I'll say that technology is an enabler. What we need to find out is what are the services-rich application and challenges we are solving our customer, imbibe them in an agile, future-proof architecture, and then look at from that side. That's my way to go backward instead of forward on technology.
Well, revolutionizing customer experiences is what the title of this particular session is, and using AI and ML as an enabler, as you say, we'll certainly do that. A lot to talk about in this space. We're just scratching the surface, if you will. Sandeep, thanks again for being on one of these sessions. You've been on a few.
Thanks very much.
And Danny, really good to meet you. I know
Likewise.
your team up way further north, and it's a great group of people, so we appreciate you, and good to meet you as well.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, thanks so much.